Go to your kitchen right now. Open your spice cabinet. Look at the red caps, the yellow lids, the familiar glass bottles lined up in neat rows. Garlic powder, cinnamon, chili powder, taco seasoning, that little shake you add to eggs, chicken, vegetables, pasta. You've used these products for years without a second thought. Your parents use them. Your grandparents use them. Spices are supposed to be the cleanest part of your kitchen. Dried plants, ground herbs, flavor from nature. But here's the uncomfortable truth most Americans don't realize. The modern spice aisle is not just herbs and roots in a bottle. It is an industrial supply chain built for shelf life, warehouse storage, and profit margins, not for purity, freshness, or transparency. And some of those bottles contain far more than dried garlic or ground cinnamon. In recent years, independent testing across the United States has raised serious concerns about contamination and additives in popular spice brands. State agriculture departments have flagged elevated lead levels in certain ground cinnamon and turmeric products. Consumer advocacy groups have found heavy metals appearing in spice samples at levels that, while technically legal, are concerning when consumed daily. And here is the key word: daily. Spices are not eaten once a month. They are used every single day, often multiple times per day, in small amounts that accumulate over years. Lead is not something your body flushes out easily. It builds. Slowly, silently, especially in children. Then there are the additives most consumers never think about. Silicon dioxide, calcium silicate, tricalcium phosphate. Anti-caking agents added so powder flows smoothly after sitting in warehouses for months. Misc hidden in blends. Maltodextrin added to salt-free seasonings. Artificial colors used to make paprika look brighter under store lighting. These ingredients are technically approved by regulators. But approval does not equal optimal. Approval means permitted within limits, and limits are calculated based on isolated exposures, not cumulative lifetime intake from dozens of products combined. The American spice market is dominated by a handful of corporations that control massive distribution networks. Products often sit in storage for months before reaching store shelves. Irradiation is used to sterilize spices and extend shelf life. Irradiation kills bacteria, yes, but it also degrades volatile flavor compounds and sensitive plant phytochemicals. By the time that bottle reaches your kitchen, the spice may be more than a year old. Anti-caking agents keep it flowing so you don't notice the age. Perfect texture masks declining potency. This is not fear. This is logistics. When 40% of a market is controlled by one corporation, efficiency drives decisions. Long shelf life equals national distribution. National distribution equals additives that preserve flow, color, and appearance. And consumers assume that because something is on a grocery shelf in America, it must represent the best available standard. That assumption deserves to be questioned. Tonight, we are taking a hard look at 10 of the most popular seasoning brands in the United States. Not rumors, not social media panic. We are examining ingredient labels, corporate ownership, supply chain realities, and publicly available testing reports. Some brands have been flagged for heavy metal concerns. Others rely heavily on additives that most families never intentionally choose. And a few market themselves as health conscious while quietly including high glycemic fillers or flavor enhancers. This is not about panic. It is about awareness. Spices should enhance your food, not complicate your health. Real garlic powder should be one ingredient, garlic. Real cinnamon should be cinnamon. Real seasoning should not need synthetic dyes or neurological flavor enhancers to taste good. By the end of this video, you will understand which brands deserve scrutiny, which deserve criticism, and which are worth your trust. Because your spice cabinet should be the cleanest part of your kitchen, not the most overlooked. Number 7. BADIA spices. Walk into almost any American grocery store and look at the lower shelves of the spice aisle. Bright yellow caps. Bold labels. Garlic powder for a fraction of the price of premium brands. BADIA Spices has built its reputation on affordability and availability. For many families, especially those watching grocery budgets closely, a $2.99 bottle of garlic powder feels like a smart decision. It's seasoning. It's simple. It's not supposed to be complicated. But when you flip that bottle over and actually read the ingredient list, you start to see how modern spice economics work. Most BADIA single-ingredient spices list the primary spice first: garlic, turmeric, oregano, followed by silicon dioxide, an anti-caking agent. Silicon dioxide is commonly used in powdered foods to keep them free-flowing. It is considered food safe by the FDA within specific limits. The real question is not legality. It is necessity. Garlic powder existed for centuries without anti-caking agents. The reason it is used now is not culinary, it is logistical. Spices today move through global supply chains. They are processed in bulk, transported long distances, stored in warehouses for months, and then distributed nationwide. Anti-caking agents ensure that even after extended storage, the powder pours smoothly. Texture consistency masks age. Now add sourcing to the equation. BADIA publicly states it sources spices globally from dozens of countries. Global sourcing is not inherently negative. However, the spice industry has a documented history of contamination issues in certain regions, particularly involving heavy metals like lead in turmeric and oregano. In 2019, Consumer Reports testing of various spice brands found concerning levels of heavy metals in multiple products across the market, including some budget brands. While not every product exceeds federal recall thresholds, cumulative exposure, especially for children, is where concern begins. Lead is not metabolized efficiently by the body. It accumulates in bone and tissue over time. For American families using garlic powder, turmeric, or chili powder daily, the issue is repeated microexposure. Children absorb lead more efficiently than adults, and even low-level chronic exposure has been linked in research to developmental and cognitive concerns. The FDA sets maximum thresholds, but those thresholds assume limited exposure. Spices used in every meal shift that equation. BADIA's defense, like most major brands, is compliance. Their products meet current regulatory standards, and that is true within federal limits. But compliance is the minimum requirement, not a guarantee of optimal purity. Budget pricing is achieved through global sourcing, high-volume purchasing, and extended shelf life, not small-batch freshness or origin transparency. The bottom line is this: BADIA is not uniquely villainous. It is representative of the industrial spice model, global sourcing, long distribution cycles, anti-caking agents for shelf stability, and regulatory limit heavy metal exposure that may be acceptable on paper but deserves awareness in practice. When the price difference between brands is dramatic, the difference is rarely just packaging. It is sourcing control, testing transparency, and freshness cycle. If you have yellow caps in your cabinet right now, this is not about panic. It is about informed choice. Budget spices save money up front. The real question is whether long-term exposure and ingredient quality are part of that cost calculation. Number 6. Accent seasoning. Accent seasoning is not a spice blend. It's not garlic, herbs, or a mix of natural ingredients. It is 100% monosodium glutamate, MISC. Flip the container over and you'll see one ingredient listed, just MISC. It's marketed as a flavor enhancer, but what it actually does is stimulate glutamate receptors on your tongue and amplify the savory sensation known as umami. That immediate mouth-watering effect? That's neurological stimulation. The FDA classifies MISC as generally recognized as safe in typical amounts. However, some individuals report short-term reactions like headaches, flushing, or sweating, often called MISC symptom complex. Beyond that, MISC adds no nutrients, no antioxidants, no minerals. It simply intensifies flavor perception. There's also discussion in nutrition research about how hyper-flavor stimulation may increase appetite and overall calorie intake. When food tastes more intense, portion control becomes harder. For people managing weight, blood sugar, or sodium intake, that matters. MISC still contains sodium, and heavy use contributes to total daily intake. Accent isn't deceptive. It's transparent. The question is whether you want to build flavor with real ingredients or rely on chemical amplification to make food taste stronger than it naturally is. Number 5. Lawry's Seasoned Salt. Lawry's Seasoned Salt is iconic in American kitchens. But flip the bottle over and look at the ingredients. The first ingredient is salt. The second is sugar. That means this is not primarily a spice blend. It's flavored salt with added sweetness. A quarter teaspoon contains around 380 mg of sodium, about 16% of your daily limit. Because it's marketed as seasoning instead of salt, people often use more of it. That quietly increases sodium intake, a concern for nearly half of U.S. adults managing blood pressure. Sugar as the second ingredient is rarely discussed. Used across multiple meals per day, that hidden sugar adds up, especially for those watching blood glucose levels. Then you'll see anti-caking agents like tricalcium phosphate or silicon dioxide, added to keep the blend free-flowing during long storage. Lawry's isn't illegal or contaminated. It's compliant and consistent. But it's structurally salt and sugar first, spices second. If you're trying to reduce sodium or added sugar, seasoned salt may be working against you. Number 4. MORTON Season All. MORTON Season All looks like a spice blend, but read the label. First ingredient, salt. Second, sugar. Only after that do the spices appear. That means most of what you're shaking onto your food is sodium and added sugar. Just a quarter teaspoon delivers roughly 380 mg of sodium, again about 16% of the daily recommended maximum. Because it's labeled seasoning, people tend to use it more generously than table salt. Sugar enhances flavor and increases palatability. For diabetics or pre-diabetics, hidden sugar in savory foods complicates blood glucose management. And for those reducing sodium, replacing table salt with Season All doesn't lower intake, it may increase it. MORTON is transparent about ingredients. The issue is perception. It feels like spices. In reality, it's flavored salt with sweet reinforcement. Awareness changes how you use it. Number 3. GOYA adobo is a cultural staple in millions of American households. But modern formulations deserve a closer look. The first ingredient remains salt, around 400 mg per quarter teaspoon. That's roughly 17% of your daily sodium limit. Many mainstream versions now include MCCORMICK and anti-caking agents like tricalcium phosphate. Some versions also contain artificial dyes such as yellow 5 and red 40. These dyes are FDA approved in the US, but require warning labels in parts of Europe due to links in some studies to hyperactivity in children. GOYA also offers organic and dye-free alternatives, proving cleaner formulations are possible. The key is checking which version you're buying. Tradition builds trust. But formulas evolve over time. If adobo is in your cabinet, read the label. Sodium content, MCCORMICK presence, artificial colors, those details matter. Number 2. Spice Islands. Spice Islands positions itself as premium. Glass bottles, higher prices, eye-level shelf placement. But compare ingredient lists. Garlic powder often reads, garlic, silicon dioxide. That's the same anti-caking agent found in many lower-priced brands. The glass packaging looks upscale, but light exposure can degrade volatile oils over time. Most large-scale spice brands, including Spice Islands, use FDA-approved irradiation to reduce microbial contamination. It improves safety, but can reduce certain flavor compounds. Spice Islands isn't unsafe. It complies with regulations. The question is value. When the ingredient structure mirrors lower-priced competitors, you're often paying for positioning rather than reduced additives or significantly fresher product. Premium pricing doesn't automatically mean cleaner formulation. Number 1. MCCORMICK. MCCORMICK dominates the U.S. spice aisle. Beyond its red caps, it owns brands like Lawry's, Old Bay, and Zatarain's. Much of the variety in stores belongs to one company. Many powdered MCCORMICK spices include silicon dioxide as an anti-caking agent. This keeps products free-flowing after extended storage in national distribution chains. It's FDA approved, but it reflects a supply chain optimized for shelf stability, not necessarily peak freshness. Like most national spice companies, MCCORMICK uses irradiation to reduce contamination risk. That improves compliance and safety, but may reduce some sensitive flavor compounds over time. MCCORMICK products are widely used and legally compliant. The issue isn't danger, it's industrial scale. Long storage cycles, additive-supported texture, and centralized distribution define the model. If your cabinet is filled with red caps, understand what they represent: consistency and convenience, not necessarily small batch freshness or additive-free design. Safe picks, cleaner options. If you want simpler labels and fewer additives, several U.S. brands focus on cleaner formulations. Simply Organic offers USDA organic certified spices with single ingredient labels and no anti-caking agents in many products. Frontier Co-op operates as a cooperative and provides organic options with stronger sourcing transparency. Penzeys Spices focuses on freshness and typically avoids silicon dioxide and MCCORMICK in single spices. Burlap and Barrel sources single-origin spices directly from farms, with no additives. Diaspora Co. specializes in high-quality turmeric and direct trade sourcing with additive-free products. No brand is perfect. Spices naturally absorb trace minerals from soil, but shorter ingredient lists, organic certification, and sourcing transparency are strong starting points. If you're rebuilding your spice cabinet, begin with single-ingredient organic basics.